Welcome back, everybody, to Believe in the Wolfpack. This is episode 6, and it's going to be all recruiting. The recruiting special. Oof, it was an exciting day today for the Wolfpack and really just the college football world overall, but especially exciting for any NC State fan out there. But before we get into that, as I'm recording, men's basketball and women's basketball are going on right now. Give a quick score update. The men's team is actually trailing by 3 to St. Louis going into halftime, 36-33. So hopefully they can, go on one of those runs in the second half and then just really put them in the dirt. And then the women's team seems to be doing all right. I think they're going to be okay. They lead 74-33 over Old Dominion. Uh, they're currently on a 12-1 run. And actually, Old Dominion just got their first point in the fourth quarter and their second point in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left in that game. So it looks like the women's team is going to be moving on to 12-0 and don't think they're going to lose that, top 3 spot in the country. So they seem all right. Hopefully the men's team can pull it out over St. Louis. They're in a tight one right now, but let's get right into it. NC State, the Wolfpack, had an exciting day today. Overall, finished, I believe it was 27th in the country for their 2024 recruiting class, 5th in the ACC. Last year, the Wolfpack were 43rd in the country, jumped up to 27th this year. I think the only teams ahead of them were Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson, and I know I'm missing a few here. But I was also looking at kind of the schedule for next year and the teams that, the recruiting classes that were ahead of NC State. The only ones were Clemson, North Carolina, and North Carolina was 26th. And then Tennessee. Not bad. Not bad at all. So let's run through the 24 commits for the Wolfpack today. I'm just going to get through all the names. We're going to highlight a few. Like we'll start off with Terrell Anderson, our top recruit, wide receiver, 6'3", 184 pounds, just from Greensboro. 4-star, pardon me, didn't want to sell him short. 4-star, 93 overall kind of rating according to 24/7 Sports. Terrell Anderson, 6'3", 184 pounds. He's one of a few kind of solid receivers that the Wolfpack are going to have as freshmen going into next year that once we read off the next few, I'll explain more about. Jonathan Paylor is the next one. Jonathan Paylor listed as an athlete. And today watching the videos also, if you haven't seen I guess the announcement videos from NC State, I mostly saw them on Twitter. The Wolfpack Twitter had a really nice kind of graphic for it where it looked like they were kind of being selected in the NFL draft. Then you had Coach Dorn walking up and kind of saying something, putting their name on a board, saying welcome. Then you had a whole highlight reel afterward. It was really well done. I thought it was great. It was definitely like if you're one of these guys that signed today, you're watching that thinking like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like, get that in your head of like, ooh, that's going to be me in a few years' time at the actual NFL draft. They're going to say linebacker at NC State, receiver at NC State. You can just kind of have that vision already. Before we even get to NC State, you can already put that in your mind and just get excited about it. But back to Jonathan Paylor. Paylor, Dorn, and assistant head coach / receivers coach Joker Phillips said this may be the fastest guy in the class. He's listed as an athlete, 5'9.5", 170 pounds. Phillips went on to say pretty much we can put him wherever. Put him at slot receiver, put him in the backfield, put him as a punt or kick returner, put him as a gunner on the punt team. You can put this guy wherever. He may even get some snaps at outside receiver, just kind of take the top off the defense. If he's that fast, he's going to be that guy where, maybe he doesn't get every catch in the world, but he's going to open up the entire offense for the rest of the team, for McCall and these receivers like KC and the rest that we're going to get to. And if they forget about him, boom, 50, 60-yard touchdown pass right to him. But it's always nice, especially nowadays where speed is everything in It always was, but even more so now. Speed is everything in football, high school, college, NFL, whatever. John Ross pretty much, ran his way to a top 10 pick with that 4.22. Yeah, 4.22 That alone got him picked in the top 10. Obviously didn't pan out, but that just shows you, what speed can do for you. It can get you into the first round and make you millions of more dollars than what you already were expecting to make once you got drafted. But Paler, even at 5'9", listed as an athlete, I imagine being 5'9", most of his work will be either from the slot or the backfield. As a returner, yeah, that'd be great. So pretty much what Phillips said, but I imagine he'll make the greatest impact as a back or as a guy in a slot who can, you get him out, you get him a quick pass, like a bubble screen, follow a block, try and take it to the house or 20 yards somewhat, maybe a quick slant. I don't imagine the only real deep routes he's going to be running is just taking the top off the defense and running straight, which is perfectly fine. That is absolutely necessary for any team. So it's already a luxury that he's going to be with the Wolfpack next year. But moving on, Elijah Groves, linebacker, 6'4", 215, a 4-star. And then you have Ronnie Royal the third, a 4-star, also listed as an athlete, also 5'9.5". And then the first quarterback and the only quarterback that the Wolfpack signed out of this 2024 class, Cedric Bailey, 6'6", 185 pounds, a 3-star quarterback listed on 24/7. Pretty much a 4-star. His rating is 89. You need a 90 to be a 4-star. Just bump it up, whatever. I won't snitch. It'll be fine. Cedric is 6'6" though. This kid's 6'6" at quarterback. That's unbelievable. That's fantastic. And yeah, he is a freshman, and obviously I do not expect him to, take over the starting job next year. If he does, hey, more power to you. Good job. But getting at least one quarterback in this 2024 class is a win. Getting one as your best 3-star recruit. He's the 5th overall best recruit for the Wolfpack. He's going to learn. I want him to be best friends with Grayson McCall. Him and Grayson McCall need to be inseparable. He needs to learn everything and anything from McCall. A grad, plenty of experience at Coastal Carolina, going to provide even more experience and great play with the Wolfpack this year. I need McCall to be teaching Cedric Bailey everything and anything. It's only going to help him down the road. It's only going to help him with, again, like I said, I don't imagine he'll be the starter this year, but once McCall leaves after this year, since it's his last year of eligibility, right now it's looking like Bailey will be the 20. I don't want to get ahead of myself either. Don't get me wrong, but you kind of have to for college football. He's looking like the 2025 starting quarterback. Transfer portal, yeah. But right now, I feel confident in penciling in Cedric Bailey, the 6'6" quarterback, as the 2025 starter. He's from Florida, played at, what is that, Chaminade Madonna Prep? Sure, the prep school names are just unbelievably ridiculous sometimes. But you get a 6'6" quarterback at the D1 level in any team in college. That's a win. You can mold him. He's gonna be good. I'm already excited for him to get his time at 25. But again, moving on. Then you have Robbie Martin, lineman. Not too many linemen in this class would be my only gripe, I guess. A lot of receivers and a lot of linebackers, it seems. Just like these next two. Jamar Boston, 3-star receiver. Joshua Ofor, 3-star linebacker. Assad Brown, 3-star cornerback. Joshua Alexander Felton, 3-star D lineman. Christian Zachary, 3-star receiver. Brody Barnhart, 3-star safety. And then Keenan Jackson, the 3-star wide receiver who was originally committed to UNC, flipped just last night. He announced his, decommitment from North Carolina. And then this morning announced his commitment to the Wolfpack. And that coach over there at UNC wasn't too happy. He just didn't seem too happy today. I don't feel like getting into all that. It's already been, if you know, maybe a bit of pettiness going around, but it's okay. It's okay. Not too upset. I'm not too upset at all because Keenan Jackson is now with NC State. I thought that was, oh, that had to hurt. That had to hurt. You flip your commitment. I mean, he's from North Carolina, so, he's going to stay in state, but, ooh, you flip your commitment to North Carolina. It's NC State. Oh, man. That's got to hurt for the Tar Heels. But he's also a 3-star receiver. He's 6'3", 185. So just like Terrell Anderson, both 6'3", and Keenan Jackson has 1 pound on him. Cool. But these are two big receivers. Looking at these guys right now, the receiving class is going to be incredible. We're going to have a very good young class to go along. So you have KC, you have Terrell Anderson, Jonathan Paylor can be a slot guy, Jamar Boston, another top receiver. He's 6', 175. These are all bigger receivers as well outside of Paylor. Christian Zachary, 6'3", 190 receiver. And then Keenan Jackson, like I said, 6'3", 185. These are all big receivers. These are all guys who can go up and get it. These are all guys who, early on in camp and spring ball and fall ball and the two-a-days and whatnot, they're going to be building this chemistry with Grayson McCall where during the season, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some, second and short situations, some third and longs where, all right, let me just toss it up to one of my young guys who's 6'3", try and moss somebody, and we get a first down and flip the field just like that. That's where that chemistry will come in. And just them being 6'3" and 185 or 190 is just an added bonus. That's just a cherry on top. So I've always liked kind of having receivers that are big physical guys that can go up and, just snatch a pass. Because, yeah, having the yak or the rack, either is fine. Run after catch, yards after catch, whatever. It's all the same. Having that is nice. But for the most part, receivers they're going to have to make contested catches. They're going to have to catch the ball and fall out of bounds. They're going to have to, sky up over somebody and try and pluck it out of the air. So to have multiple options is incredible. Just hoping that they can develop and really just become studs in this offense, which we're all expecting. Don't get me wrong. And that's just comes in again with McCall being that, experienced guy, that experienced leader. You put him in this situation with a bunch of young guys at receiver, and even Justin Jolly, I believe, the tight end in the transfer portal from JUCO, another younger guy. You give him these younger weapons that he can mold and kind of just take under his wing. He's going to have a wingspan of an eagle to take all these guys. You can't forget about Cedric Bailey as well. But he's got to take these guys under his wing and really kind of mold them and work with them and just kind of say like, hey, this is what I like. This is what you got to do here. This is what you got to do. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to be a treat. It's going to be very exciting. Talk about the schedule later. And obviously we got plenty of time before 2024. We're still got one more game to play. So back to the rest of the guys. Jaden Scott, running back, 5'10", 3-star. Justin Terrell, defensive lineman. He's a 3-star as well. The rest of these guys are going to be 3-stars, so don't have to keep repeating myself. Javon Bailey, cornerback, 6 foot cornerback. Pretty good. Kind of like what was Richard Sherman? Sherman was like 6'2", 6'3", almost. The tall cornerbacks are also quick. So it's a cheat code. Tyler West, 6'5", 270 offensive tackle. Trent Mitchell, 6'6", 290-pound offensive tackle. Chase Bond, 6'4", 255-pound defensive lineman. Isaiah Jones, 5'11", 187-pound running back. Wyatt Wright, 6'2", 225 linebacker. Cannon Lewis, 6'2", 210-pound linebacker. This is where the linebackers really come into play towards the bottom half. It's just a linebacker. Just like Zane Williams, 5'11", 210-pound linebacker. And finally, the 24th recruit, 24th 3-star, Dante Daniels, 6'6", 265-pound tight end. It's another guy, another weapon for Grayson McCall that he can kind of take under his wing and really try and mold and just turn him into maybe not the exact player that he wants, because again, These guys are going to have to be themselves. The most important part about, having successful players and having, good personalities, happy guys, positive players, let them be themselves. You got to let these guys, to an extent, play the way they want to play. I'm not saying they can all just kind of run out there, pick whatever route they want, kind of drawing a football. Like, all right, I'm going to go up and then. So they can't always do that. But you got to let them be themselves with also, having that learning curve of this is what you got to do at this level. Yeah, you may have been the best player at where Dante Daniels go, Butler CC. You were probably the best player there this year, if not ever. Maybe not here at the D1 level for in the ACC. So you got to mold these guys. You got to teach them. You really got to, you just got to teach them. You got to learn. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be an exciting time. And like I said, the transfers, no real new transfers since the last episode that we had. But Jordan Waters is looking like the top guy as of right now. The running back from Duke, but that'll be a nice kind of with the young receiving core, even with the tight ends, having two experienced guys in the backfield in Jordan Waters and Grayson McCall. That's going to be a very nice balance. When you have to, you can lean on McCall and Waters. If the passing game isn't there, you have a reliable, experienced guy at running back. You can rely on him. That'll be nice, especially even just giving the young guys a break if it's just not their night. It would be foolish to think that all these freshman receivers and tight ends are going to be immediate first-team all-freshmen coming into next year. It would be great, but we can't assume. And then actually looking at it again, Justin Jolly, the tight end that I mentioned, came out of high school. He was 0-star. 1 year at JUCO, 4-star. 6'3", 232. Another young guy he can mold. Even then, the transfer portal has a good amount of cornerbacks like Tamarcus Cooley, Corey Cooley. I thought we had another, but those are the main two right there. So that is kind of the very sped up, even then, it took a minute. It felt like the sped up version of the recruiting class, the 2024 recruiting class for the Wolfpack. We'll step away for a moment. When we come back, going to get into some more kind of general college football recruiting, since today, like I said, was the official signing day. Could be some late, entries and whatnot in the weeks to come, but for the most part, all the main guys and anybody who had to flip or anybody, with big decisions, that was today. So we'll step away and be right back with some more kind of overall college football recruiting. Just quick score updates again. The women's Wolfpack did end up winning that game 87-50 over Old Dominion, another just a commanding, dominant win. They moved to 12-0 on the year. The men's team still trails by 3 with just about 4 minutes gone in the second half. They trail 46-43. Still hoping they can just go on a run right around the 8-minute mark, and it'll be fine. Won't even have to worry about how they were down 3. But if they do lose, that'll be a full recap in the next one. Actually, that reminds me, since the next week is, the Christmas time and whatnot, the holidays, instead of the Tuesday-Thursday format, I'm thinking Wednesday, Friday. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Wednesday, Friday, but if you follow on Believe in the Wolfpack on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatnot, you'll know it'll be there. You'll see the posts of me talking and saying, new episode, yay, follow, download, listen. It'll be there. Regardless, there's going to be 2 next week, even with the holidays right around the corner. But into some kind of overall around the country recruiting. The best class this year. Who would have thought? It's Georgia. Wow, can't believe it. And then following Georgia is, where's my mouse? Can't find it. There it is. Following Georgia is Alabama. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. I cannot believe Georgia and Alabama are 1 and 2 in the recruiting class. This must be their first, top 2 spots since an entire year ago, maybe. I can't imagine who's the top 2 for 2025. Whatever. Miami actually is 3rd. Miami had 2 5-star commits, 11 4-stars. Ohio State is has the 4th best class for 2024. They also have the most 5-star commits. They have 5, and then Georgia has 4, and Alabama has 3. And then Oregon, rounding out the top 5. Oregon is 5th. They have 24-star recruits. but no 5 stars. They're going with a quantity over quality, I guess. They do have 25 total commits. I was going to say how maybe Georgia went for quality over quantity, but they have 28 total commits, 4 5-star recruits, and the same amount of 4-star recruits as Oregon in 20. So, whatever. I really do wonder if Georgia and Alabama are ever going to go away because Alabama's been good since, the sun was in the sky. I think them two might be just good forever. Whatever realignment, the only realignment that would make Alabama, have a actual down year or go sub 500 is if you put them in the NFL. That's it. That's pretty much it. Same with Georgia. Pretty much it. But outside of them being incredible and getting every player under the sun, I kind of want to talk about some of my surprising teams when I'm looking through these rankings. In a good and bad way. So in a good way, most surprising, Auburn. Auburn had the 7th best class this year with 2 5-star recruits, and their kind of main one was the 2nd best receiver in the class in Cam Coleman. Pretty good. Pretty good. Honestly, for Auburn is usually consistently inside the top 20, 25, I feel like, for recruiting. And it's always impressive. You got Alabama right there. They are right there. And you're choosing to go to Auburn. It's one thing if you choose to go to Tennessee or Kentucky or Mississippi State, whatever, over Alabama or Georgia in the SEC. But to pick a different team in state it's impressive. So just a good job by the recruiting team down there in Auburn to still land 2 5-stars and 13 4-star recruits. Actually, since I did 7, Texas is 6 as well. They have 4 5-star recruits with 14 4-star recruits. And then I wrote them down as a more surprising team as to why they were kind of lower. But the more I thought about it, not as surprised. Michigan. Michigan is 15th in this 2024 recruiting class. 27 total commits, 0 5-star commits, and 18 4-stars. My thing is that if you're looking at the Big Ten, and if you're a top tier recruit, you're a 5-star, you're a high end 4-star, you're looking at the Big Ten, your first option is Ohio State. They've produced more NFL talent than Michigan the last few years. I'm not saying Michigan hasn't, produced NFL talent because that would be a lie. But Ohio State they're the Alabama of the North. They're always going to have somebody go in the top 10 in, multiple guys in the top 10, if not, multiple in the top 5 sometimes. So I think Ohio State is usually the first option. But to see Penn State over Michigan is a bit surprising to me. I know Penn State is, if you're in Pennsylvania and you're a top tier recruit and you want to stay in state, there's no other option. You have Pitt, but you're going to go to Penn State. I mean, come on. So, but to see Michigan no 5-star recruits is a bit surprising to me. Like I said, even then with Harbaugh, year after year after year, being reported that he may jump back onto the NFL ship, I guess. There's no real, no promise can fully be kept there. You can never be totally sure on a promise from Michigan in my mind because Harbaugh could leave at any time. Even then, he still may be suspended for the first few games next year. I do think this is the year that he will go back to the NFL. He talks about it every single year, but with the suspension and all the cheating and whatnot that has happened this year, it just feels like the right time for Harbaugh to get back in the league. So that may be a reason why, they didn't have as many, but they still had 27 total commits. Not bad at all. But 15th, it just feels a bit low, especially with them being in the college football playoff and then beating Ohio State 3 straight years. You're telling me there wasn't a few recruits there for Ohio State that were deciding between Ohio State and Michigan at the game and you see Michigan win and you flip, there's got to be a few. There's got to be a few. But still, I am surprised that they're 15, even with Harbaugh leaving, because it's still Michigan. They're still going to be, good every year. They're still going to be in the conversation every year. They're the Notre Dame of the Big Ten, where even if they're not that great, they're still going to be talked about like they're one of the top teams in the country and in the Big Ten. Speaking of which, Notre Dame was 10th in this 2024 class with 1 5-star and 15 4-star recruits. I mean, how many times are we going to do this with Notre Dame where we come into the year, oh, they're so good. Wow, this could be their year, new coach, system, blah, 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 blah. And then they lose some bad game. They don't look that good. They have 10 guys on defense against Ohio State in the final play of the game. I don't know. It dates back to that championship game where they got trounced by Alabama. How could you not see that coming? I mean, come on. It was just maybe not as obvious, but it was near the same level of obviousness as TCU getting just manhandled last year. And manhandled manhandled is a gross understatement of what happened in that game. That thing was over from the first snap, and it was a shame. But going over some of the top recruits should get into from this year. Jeremiah Smith, top recruit, wide receiver, headed to Ohio State. Williams Nwanri? Yeah, that seems right. Defensive lineman going to Missouri. Ellis Robinson the fourth, headed to Georgia. Cam Coleman, the receiver, headed to Auburn. Julian Sayin, the top quarterback, according to 24/7 Sports, headed to Alabama. Wow. Every year. That's another thing. Every year with Alabama. Who's the quarterback going to be? Is it going to be this guy? Is there a problem at quarterback with Alabama? Which 5-star are they going to put there this time? Even this year, Jalen Milroe got benched after the Texas game, and they had, I can't even remember the guy's name. Tyler Buckner? They had the 2 quarterbacks behind him try and play, and then Milroe was the starter the rest of the way, and he's looked really good since that benching. He looked great down the stretch. And again, almost lost to Auburn, whatever. He's looked much better in the latter half of the year. But Dylan Raiola, the next guy, the 6th recruit in the class, like we talked about, flipped to Nebraska. Micah Hudson, wide receiver, going to Texas Tech. Justin Williams, linebacker, headed to Georgia. David Stone, defensive lineman, headed to Oklahoma. And then DJ Lagway sticks with Florida, the quarterback, headed to Florida. I think there was some talk about how he may possibly flip, but he ends up staying with the Gators. But again, Georgia, Bama were the top 2 teams this year. They pretty much always will be. Just to, make my point, let's check 2025. And Alabama's 1. They already have 2 5-star recruits. Actually, Georgia's 3. Georgia's 3 for 2025. That's... Who would have thought? Can't believe it. They're not 2. Wow. They still have 2 5-star recruits, so whatever. Notre Dame is actually 2nd right now in the 2025 recruiting class. They don't have any 5-stars, but they have 6 4-star recruits and 4 3-star recruits. Give it a month. Georgia will be 2. Alabama will be 1 or 2. Whatever. It's such a pain. Let's see where NC State lands to finish off this show for 2025. 31 right now. They're 31st for 2025, just with the 2 3-star recruits. Plenty of time. Don't need to worry about that. But one final time, NC State, they are 27th in total recruiting class for 2024. North Carolina is 1 spot ahead of them at 26. And then Stanford, the newcomer to the ACC, is not too far behind. They are 30th. They have 4 4-star recruits and 19 3-stars. Even NC State just getting 24 total commits is very nice. Just to have, that quantity and still with the quality of a bunch of 4-stars is going to be very nice. And then just, throw them a bone. In 50th in the top 50 recruiting classes for 2024, at least 24/7 Sports has, the first 50 before we have to load more, is Arizona. They have 2 4-stars, 0 5-stars. Oof. Michigan State with 19 commits, 1 4-star. Michigan State's really just they're really falling off a cliff. I mean, they had a million allegations. It's just almost too much to get into, but used to be consistent top 10 team. Look at them now. Getting beat out by Syracuse, Arizona State, Kansas, Pitt, Maryland, Rutgers at 37. Not bad. Washington at 36 with 0 5-stars, but 7 4-stars. Thought Washington maybe. I guess being in the Big Ten may hurt them. I think if they were still in the Pac-12, maybe, you get a few more. But being in the Big Ten, if you're being recruited by Washington, it's almost like, why don't I go to Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State instead? Or even Iowa. I think Iowa had a solid. Yeah, Iowa was 33rd. So not too shabby. All right. Gonna close it out. Final note. NC State 2024. Looking pretty good right now. Looking pretty good. A strong recruiting class, a strong transfer portal class already. Still got the Pop-Tart Bowl coming up next Thursday now. Man, that really got here quick. So the episode, we'll do, like I said, 2 episodes next week. First one will be a full preview and prediction of the Pop-Tart Bowl. And then the following will be pretty much a recap of the Pop-Tart Bowl. Thank you for joining me on episode 6 of Believe in the Wolfpack, and we'll see you next time.